Hello friends, welcome. In this video, I'll be discussing few of the selected lights and shapes cards for the last moment oral examination review. Let's get started. Here are two white lights and the side lights. First obvious answer that comes to mind is power driven vessel 50 meters or more in length, seen end on. Then the second option that possibly it could be is that it is a power driven towing vessel or vessel engaged in pushing, which is underway and the length of the tow does not exceed 200 meters. Clear action in both the situations will be rule number 14, head on situation, one shot blast, alter course to starboard. No day signal, and if making way in the restricted visibility, one prolonged blast, and if it's stopped, two prolonged blast with 2-second interval in between. Next card is two white lights, and this time there are three possibilities. One, that it is a vessel at anchor, which is probably 50 meters or more, but less than 100 meters, seen end on, or from right astern. 2 and 3 similar to the previous situation, except we are assuming that side lights are out of sight right now. Action like most of the time, one shot blast alter course to starboard, except for the third situation where it could be towing or pushing vessel out of range for the side light. We wait for the lights to come in sight and then take action. For the restricted visibility sound signal, for the anchored vessel, it will be only ringing of the bell for 5 seconds and then followed by a warning signal, one shot long and one shot, with an interval of not more than 1 minute, because this vessel is obviously less than 100 meters, as the deck lights are not illuminated in this case. And if the side lights come in sight and it becomes a power driven vessel, then when making way, it will be one prolonged blast, and if stopped, it will be two prolonged blasts with 2 seconds interval in between. And if it turns out to be a towing vessel, then one prolonged followed by two short blast. And these signals to be sound at an interval of not more than 2 minutes. And with this, I would like to point out that except in case where the vessel is at anchor, the sound interval between the restricted visibility signals is always not more than 2 minutes. Except for anchored vessels, it's not more than 1 minute. Now here is another similar card, two white lights, only they are apart from each other and one is on top and bottom. So this being a possibility of a towing vessel is out of question. So it can only be a vessel at anchor, which is less than 100 meters and probably 50 meters or more, or it's a power driven vessel, probably 50 meters or more and out of sight for the side lights. For action, if it's a vessel at anchor, you just alter to starboard, one shot blast. If it's a vessel which is a power driven vessel and the side light is still out of sight, and most likely you're looking at the starboard side of the ship. As you can see, the light on the left is abaft and higher, so that is the aft of the ship. So if it's a power driven vessel, then as per rule number 15, you become a stand on vessel, so you maintain your course and speed. There would be a black ball as day signal for the anchored vessel, and for the power driven vessel, there'll be no day signal. For the restricted visibility signal, again, this is a vessel which is less than 100 meters, so only rapid ringing of bell for 5 seconds. Additionally, to give a warning, one shot, one prolonged one shot blast may be sounded. And if it's a power driven vessel, same old situation, one prolonged blast when making way, two prolonged blast with 2 seconds interval in between when the vessel is stopped. To save your time, I will not be repeating this particular sound signal of power driven vessel in the future cards. Finally, single white light, which is one of the most favorite card of many surveyors. So a single white light can be the light which you see from stern. So it could be a stern light of a power driven vessel or sailing vessel. And next possibility is that a single white light is the masthead light of a vessel which is less than 50 meters while the side lights are out of sight. Other possibilities are that this is an all-round light. For a vessel at anchor which is less than 50 meters, it could be a vessel which is under oars. It could be a vessel which is less than 7 meters in length, speed not exceeding 7 knots. And there's a correction in this point, so I'll repeat it again. When we are saying vessel whose speed does not exceed 7 knots, the requirement is the vessel should have less than 7 meters in length. Then it could be a power driven vessel less than 12 meters who's out of range for the side light. and it could be a sailing vessel which is less than 7 meters. For the action, most of these you'll just give one shot blast alter course to starboard. Sometimes you'll have to wait for the side lights to appear, so that you can figure out. Then for the restricted visibility signal, power driven vessel you already know. For sailing vessel, it's one prolonged followed by two shot blast. For anchored vessel, it's again 5 seconds ringing of bell with an interval of not more than 1 minute in between, plus a warning signal, one short, one long, one short. And for the day signal, there is only one black ball for anchored vessel. Otherwise, there'll be no day signal required for any of these. And the next card is yellow flashing light and one single white light. I would like to mention that for the vessel, like air cushioned vessel in a non displacement mode, there is not much difference between a power driven vessel and this. Only difference is that there is a yellow flashing light and any other light which is there in a normal power driven vessel. Actions taken, day signal, and RV signal are exactly the same as a power driven vessel which is not flashing this yellow light. Now, if this was a power driven vessel, we can just say that it is a vessel which is being seen from stern, or it's a vessel which is less than 12 meters or 50 meters in length. Out of sight for the side lights right now. If you're seeing from stern, then one shot blast alter course to starboard. But if you're waiting for the side lights to appear, then I would like to wait, because nowhere in the rules or in the Annex 1 it mentions that this flashing yellow light will be aft of the masthead light. So I don't agree with the action that I'll maintain my course and speed. There is no day signal required for this vessel. And for the restricted visibility sound signal, it's the same as power driven vessel. Then in this case of combined lantern, I would like to refresh your memory that rule number 21 definitions. Definition of side light, it mentions that any vessel which is less than 20 meters may combine their side lights into one lantern. And in the power driven vessel, rule number 23 lights, point D subpart 3, it mentions that a vessel which is less than 12 meters in length can displace its masthead light if not practicable in the center line of the ship, provided the side lights are combined into one lantern and it is placed in the same center line as the masthead light. In any case, this is a head-on situation, so one shot blast alter goes to starboard. There is no day signal, and restricted visibility signal is for any power-driven vessel. Doubt that used to rise in my mind was, could it be a sailing vessel? The answer is no, because it has a masthead light. And in sailing vessels, even if they combined a lantern, there is combination of side light and stern light together for vessels which are less than 20 meters in length. And in any case, there will never be a white light which will be above the lantern of the sailing vessel. Now, three white lights in a line and a head-on situation. And in this situation, it's definitely a vessel which is engaged in towing operation. Only two variables are whether the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters or it's a vessel which is probably 50 meters or more and the length of the tow is 200 meters or less. I had mentioned in the previous video regarding part C that when we are talking about the length of the ship, it's always reaching a certain number and more. Like you can see one part B says 50 meters or more in length. And when we talk about gear extension or length of the tow, it's always exceeding a certain number. So more than 150 meters gear extension for the fishing vessel, or length of the tow exceeds 200 meters. And when we are talking about the length of the ship, it's reaching a certain number, 50 meters or more. And even in situation where the vessel is anchored, if the length of the ship is 100 meters or more, then there are deck lights illumination. This point used to create a confusion for me, so I'm just clarifying for you. So in this card, action will always be one shot blast alter course to starboard. In the card, it's saying no day signal, but actually, if the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, there will be a requirement of putting a diamond where it can be best seen. And RV sound signal will be one prolonged followed by two shot blast as usual for any special vessel. Then the next card is a yellow light above the white light. There is only one possibility, that it's a vessel which is engaged in towing operation seen from astern. Action will be one shot blast alter course to starboard. And here it mentions one diamond if the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters. Sound signal is same, one prolonged followed by two short blast. And the next card is again towing operation, and there are two green lights I can see. So basically the object or vessel that is being towed is being seen along with the vessel which is towing seen from the starboard side. As you can see, two masthead lights, so length of the tow does not exceed 200 meters. And also the towing vessel does not have a second masthead light which is aft and above, so it's a vessel which is probably less than 50 meters in length, and length of the tow does not exceed 200 meters. For the action, you have to note that we have to maintain a course and speed, because as per rule number 15, it's a simple crossing situation, because this towing vessel is not restricted in our ability to maneuver. Often hearing the word towing vessel, we get a sense that we have to take some action. But unless the other vessel is restricted in our ability to maneuver, even the towing vessel in such cases is engaged as a normal power driven vessel. So when answering question during the oral exams, just be calm and remember this particular point, that a towing vessel, unless showing a sign of ram vessel, which is three all-round lights in a vertical line, the top and the bottom one are red and the middle one is white. So just to memorize it, there is more of danger. So red is danger, there are two lights for danger, and in the middle there's a little bit of peace. So when you see more of danger, you need to take action. Now, as we are sure that the length of the tow does not exceed 200 meters, there is no requirement of day signal. And for the restricted visibility signal, the sound signal for the towing vessel is normal, one prolonged followed by two short blast. And the vessel which is being towed will give a follow-up signal of one prolonged followed by three short blast, indicating the relationship between the two vessels. I hope so far it was a useful video for you. If you have any feedback, suggestion or comment, then please write down below. I will continue with these slides in the next part. Thank you.